recording?
I have it recording, so.
You are recording?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. Sorry. Thank you, Aaron. I just wanted to make sure that we were not going to miss this opportunity to record because we've all put a lot of work into this. Trandon, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hey guys, my name's Trandon, like Brandon with the T. If you can't see it, I had a whole thing outside set up with tiki torches and stuff, and I had to run inside because I just got caught in the rain. So back inside where it's boring, but I'm with Secure 24 ADT, and we'll get into what I do a little later, but really excited to be here. Kayla, thanks for rocking and rolling and getting this going. So.
And then Jonalee, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Jonalee. I am the marketing manager here at HomeBinder. Yeah, glad to be here and dive into all of these great topics we have.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And with that, I will kick off our presentation. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see it. If we can't, we'll go from there. But I have a whole slide deck. I'm ready to go. So let me know when you guys see that and we'll go from there. Can everyone see that? Yes?
Yep.
Thumbs up.
Good to go.
Thumbs up for yes? Okay.
Good.
All right. We're going to talk about marketing. Again, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us and sharing this time with us. We know that sacrificing some of the time that you have on Sunday night is really important, so we don't take that lightly. So we're going to try to make the most of your time with us. And at the end of the webinar, you will be receiving a email that includes a survey. Please make sure to fill that out. That helps inform us of content that might be beneficial to you. I'm a big fan of making sure that we have content that's relevant. So I've included several topics. If you have any additional comments or concerns or content topics that you might think will be relevant, please feel free to email me and we will try to get a webinar set up for those. So without that, we're going to kick this off. I am going to try really hard to talk slower than I did on our last webinar. So we're going to kick this off. Marketing is at its core just good storytelling. I forget what conference I was in my early days as a marketer, but I was in a conference and I saw a session that just said that all marketing is just good storytelling. So we're going to kind of start with that base and kind of frame everything that we talk about, from what I talk about to Aaron, to Trandon, to Jonalee, is just about telling a story and relating to your consumer. So I hope that that helps you guys kind of frame what you're thinking about, and we'll go from there. So the next slide that we're going to talk about is product versus service. And that can kind of be a little confusing, especially for you guys, because what you feel like you're presenting to consumers, clients, users, whatever you want to call them, might be more of a product, but home inspection is in fact actually a service. And products are easier to market because thinking about iPhones, cars, or like there's been a surge of hard seltzers within the pandemic, those are a lot easier to market. They are pretty, I'm going to say this, they're pretty two-dimensional. Everyone kind of wants or needs them, and you just kind of have to hit basically maybe 3 to 5 points and you're going to hit your target demographic. Whereas services tend to be a little bit more narrow in their demographics. You're kind of hitting a lot smaller viewpoint when it comes to a demographic perspective. Services are a challenge simply because you are competing against a lot more people within the same space as you, and there are a lot more different variables when it comes to services. You're competing against personalities, you're competing against marketing, you're competing against pricing. Whereas when it comes to a cell phone, everybody needs a cell phone. It's just going to come down to who wants what cell phone. So when you are a service, you have to think about what makes you different, what makes you stand apart. And some people, like Walmart, have kind of set themselves apart by meeting a price point. Other people, like Costco, have made a name for themselves while paying their people well and providing a specific brand of quality to their people. So there's a lot of different things when it comes to providing a service that you have to think through. So we just want to start with the fact that you are a service, not a product. Home Inspector Pro kind of sits in the Venn diagram of those two spaces, where we are a software as a service, which means we are both product and a service. So you guys are not that, but that kind of just to kind of give you the context of where everyone sits. We are the Venn diagram. Most softwares sit in between those two places. But as a service-based industry, you are a service, not a product. And that's, again, to provide some foundation, that's where we're going to start this evening's conversation, is you are a service, and how do you market a service in the sea of services? So we got to talk about demographics. And honestly, as a marketer, marketing is fairly easy when you have simple demographics. And I don't say that to offend anyone, and I don't say that to simplify what you do, but as a marketer, there are a lot of different demographics that I deal with every single day. And so to have as simple a demographics as home inspectors do is honestly a relief and a little bit easier. So mostly, and I'm generalizing here, so if you have comments or questions about this, feel free to throw them in the chat. My colleague Dan is filtering the chat, and he is helping me make sure that those get filtered at the end. But generally, as a home inspector, you are dealing with first-time home buyers or second-time home buyers, or third-time home buyers, or vacation home buyers. And when you split those up, you also hit a generational demographic differential. And when you hit that differential, it is either going to be Gen X and, again, generalizations, Gen X and Boomer are going to be purchasing second homes, third homes, or vacation homes, whereas millennials are more likely to be your first-time home buyers. So as soon as you start recognizing that, that automatically shifts your marketing ideas, because it basically splits your messaging into two main funnels, which from a marketing perspective is so nice and super easy to deal with, because boomers are going to want something from you and millennials are going to want something from you. And those two things are fairly different from your second, third vacation home buyers to your first-time home buyers. And again, these are generalizations, but most millennial home buyers are pretty green and pretty novice when it comes to buying a home. So they are going to want a lot of hand-holding, a lot of education, and a lot of help along the way. Whereas a boomer or Gen X home buyer may have used you in the past, may have referred business to you. So they're going to be at a different place. So all of that does is help inform the messaging of your marketing. So if you are trying to generate referrals, or if you're trying to generate new business, that's basically the two splits between these demographics that we're dealing with. So I just kind of want to set the stage with those two things of thinking through those demographics, as well as the fact that, like, I know millennials get a lot of heat and a lot of bad rap for kind of seeming to be young or irresponsible, but the oldest millennial is about 40 years old. So the buying power of millennials is extremely high right now, and what they want and how they're looking at the market is extremely relevant and extremely important, just as Boomer and Gen X generations are. So understanding the generational differences of your demographics. So you may end up, I'm from Denver, so the generational makeup of Denver of home buyers is going to be predominantly millennial. Depending on where you are and the city demographic, it might change. So understanding your city demographics and the generational makeup of your home buyer is going to be a huge part for you to understand how you're going to market. And within that is social media. Within social media, there is a generational split. Facebook tends to skew a little bit older, so seeing Boomer, Gen X. Instagram seems to be dominated generally by millennials and some late Gen Z. And TikTok is making a huge move right now as a social media platform. They are anticipating huge growth over the next 2 years. And they're a little bit interesting with the fact that they are a content-driven, within 60 seconds, you have to convey a point or a product. So definitely fitting into that Gen Z demographic. However, within TikTok, there is a large ability to educate. So a lot of these 60-second videos are about educating about a product, about a process, about a service. And so there's a lot of industries that are moving towards TikTok, trying to figure out how they can leverage that within their business. The Washington Post has hired a full-time staff member to help them with TikTok. And that may not be for everyone. And that's important for you as a business owner to recognize who are you trying to sell to and which social media platform is most relevant for you and your business. Facebook, considering like we spoke to, the city that you're in, for a city like Denver, Instagram and TikTok might be a little bit better for you if you're going to market. If you're in an older community, a suburb, Facebook might be fine, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So I'm just trying to make you guys aware of what's going on within the social media space. There are a lot of back-end data and metrics, things that we can dig into. Social media is actually very huge and very complex. So I'm just giving you kind of the high level 30,000 foot view of what each one of these platforms can provide to you. I will say there are several inspectors that I have seen utilizing these platforms really correctly and interestingly. If you want to look at them and just kind of get some ideas, Pink Flamingo Inspections is on Facebook, and how she engages her audience and demographic with her social media on Facebook is really something that you can just go look, learn from. There is also on TikTok, there's Inspector Murph and Inspector AJ, which are very helpful for me as someone who is new to the inspector industry. I get to follow along for 60-second videos and kind of see what they're seeing. I think it was Inspector Murph posted a video of a bathroom. And it looks, to me, on the outside, he showed the picture of the bathroom and I was like, that looks so great. And as he went through basically what his inspection would look like, the faucet was loose. The wood on the tub fell off. The tile within the tub was not done correctly. So it was those types of things. Within 60 seconds, I got very educated on what an inspector is looking for. So photographically, the bathroom might look amazing, but in practicality, it was not a well-functioning bathroom, and only an inspector would be able to tell you that. So if you're curious about inspectors who are utilizing these various social media platforms, I would highly recommend you go check them out. I very much vouch for them and just kind of the ability to see what they're doing. From there, we'll go into your website. Your website is huge for a millennial demographic. And I believe across all demographics generationally, we are getting to a point where websites are basically your business card. And I have looked at a lot of different inspector websites, and it is very important to have your information accessible and easy to read from your consumer. Most people are coming to your website to know two things: when can they schedule you, and how much is it going to cost? So having those things readily available is really important for your rankability with SEO, as well as we'll get to this in a little bit later, but as well as your reviewability. What we're seeing as well is your website's ability to convert to mobile. 61% of website visits were done from a mobile device. That is up 4% from last year. So we are going to keep increasing more and more people getting to websites from a mobile device. So ensuring that your website is mobile friendly is absolutely huge to your marketability. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. I know websites can be incredibly overwhelming and really hard for people to kind of wrap their minds around, but there is Upwork and Fiverr where you can place bids or scope of work on those websites and find people who can help you navigate that and build a website for your budget. That's the thing I think a lot of people get really overwhelmed is because they think that this is going to cost them thousands of dollars, and it can, or you're just trying to get a really good homepage done and that will cost you whatever you want, X. You find a designer who can help you. And then, when you incur the financial aspect, you can then move on to other pages. So I highly recommend using Fiverr or Upwork for freelance web designers if you need help with your website, especially mobile friendly versions, because that is huge with the ability to acquire new customers and make sure that they as a consumer, if someone recommends something to me, I immediately Google it. I immediately go to the website. If the website doesn't look legit, I'm gone. And the average time on a website is about under 3 seconds. So you have a very short window to capture a consumer. So you need to make sure that your website is tight and mobile friendly. And so if you have any further questions on that, we're happy to answer that for you. But just, making sure this isn't to make anyone feel badly or to make you feel like you've got to do this immediately, but just kind of put a thought in your brain about future endeavors that you're doing with your website. The next thing that we want to talk about is relationships and reviews. Having reviews for your services, having reviews on your website is a huge ability to capture new users and consumers. A lot of millennials, I will admit this, when I'm looking for something, like even just this weekend, I needed to go get my nails done. I typed in nail salons near me and it gave me a ranked list, and I went off of the reviews based on those lists. Like if it had under a 3.5, I was not going to consider that, which is just something. And I say that only so that you can consider who your consumer is and how they're going to be finding you. And so asking your clients for reviews on Google Business, Groupon, Yahoo, Yelp, any of those things is huge in helping you rank not only in SEO, but also in future consumers. So what you want to do is possibly incentivize them. So a few months ago, I fostered some dogs, and I had a dog who was not quite as potty trained as the rest you had led me to believe. So she had a little bit of struggle. And when we found her forever home, my carpets needed cleaned. And I found a company, I called them, I said, hey, they were highly reviewed. I said, hey, can you come clean my carpets? And I anticipated it being at least 2 weeks. They got me in the same day, came in, cleaned all my carpets that I needed to have cleaned, and moved my furniture, were incredibly gracious with what they were doing. And when they were finished, one of the co-owners was the person who was cleaning my carpets. He asked me, he was like, hey, could you please leave us a positive review on Google or on Yelp or any of these platforms? And if you do, we're happy to send you a Starbucks gift card. I am absolutely a huge advocate of small businesses, so I don't care about the Starbucks gift card. That's not why I'm reviewing them. I just know that since they asked me, they're clearly trying to rank and they're trying to like gain business. So I went on Google, I went on Groupon, I went on Yelp, and I gave them 5 stars. I gave them all of the reviews that I could because they were absolutely fantastic. And I went so far as to go onto my Facebook and tag them and create a post for how good of the work that they did. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with asking your clients to review you and to incentivize them with something like a Starbucks gift card or something like that, because it definitely helps. It helps you and it helps them like understand where you're coming from. It helps them understand that you are trying to build your business, trying to gain people's trust. And they're a huge part of that. So it's a huge collaborative effort between you and your consumer when it comes to relationships and reviews. So I wouldn't shy away from asking for those reviews, engaging even with your negative reviews. Even if you get a negative review, responding to that is also huge, because when I'm looking at reviews, if I see a negative review and I see that the company didn't respond to that, that to me seems like they don't care about those negative reviews. When I see a company actually respond to a negative review and kind of try to make it right, or try to have a conversation or a dialogue with someone who wasn't happy with their services, it makes me feel like that company is a little bit more human and they actually care about the services that they provide. And going back to the beginning, you are a service-based industry. So understanding that and making sure that your clients are absolutely happy with the services that you provide them makes a huge difference when it comes to your reviews on these various platforms. The next thing, I don't think we touched on this in the beginning, but a little bit about me is I have helped small businesses all over the country. Before I came to Home Inspector Pro, I was the national director of promotions with a commercial real estate private equity firm. And we had about 600 small business tenants that I sat with and helped them try to navigate expanding their marketing efforts. And so that went from anything from helping them individually to working with economic development committees in Cleveland, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Chicago, all over the place. I was working with all of these different integrations with people to try to help them accomplish their marketing goals, which I loved. I am 100% pro small business. I think that having a small business as part of our economy is actually one of the best things that we can do. It's the American dream. And I love anything that I can do to help with that. While I sat in that position, one of the main things that I saw repeatedly and over again was picking the right software platforms. A lot of small business owners are doing so much across so many different things. And having the right software in place is a huge, huge effort to making you work harder, not smart, or working smarter, not harder. There we go. So you want to work smarter, not harder, and having the right software platforms is huge to helping you accomplish your goals. And so we're not trying to sell you on anything, but I'm just gonna briefly touch on Home Inspector Pro Office. It is a back-end software that kind of helps with what you were doing as an inspector. All of the integration partners we're gonna hear from later this evening integrate with Home Inspector Office. And it's just hugely important to find the right fit for you. So whether that is working with Home Inspector Pro as a report software, whether it's working with us as a report software and our back office software, it's just really important for you as a marketer, as well as a small business owner, to find those right connections. So this is in no way a sales pitch. This is just based on my own experience and finding the way to make sure that you think through the partnerships that you are choosing when it comes to your software. And with that comes automation and communications. And I know sometimes automations is a dirty word, or it can feel weird to people because it's computers, it's setting all of this stuff up. And some people, feel like it lacks personal touch. I can tell you as a marketer and as someone who's worked doing many different things, having automation in my marketing software makes me a better marketer. If I did not have automations with the platforms that I use for communication, I would not be able to host webinars like this. I would be too busy hand responding to each and every one of our new trial users, our new HIP Office users. Right now, I have a platform that immediately if someone signs up for HIP Office or our trial, they are entered into a funnel that I have designed and written templates that they get sent those emails. They are automatically getting emails that I wrote. I just don't have to write right now. So it helps you as a small business owner. If you are scheduling, if you are confirming, if you are sending any kind of information, that is something that you send on a repetition. Home Inspector Pro Office helps you set that and just kind of forget about it and worry about the day-to-day running of your business. And I know that a lot of people have some hesitation around that, but I just want to affirm the fact that as a marketer, if I didn't have the automations and the communication software that I did, I would not be as effective as a marketer. I am able to reduce the redundancies. I am able to work smarter, not harder. And I am able to create space for me to be more creative and better at my job because I have systems going in the background. So for example, Home Inspector Pro Office has the ability to confirm your appointments, send confirmation texts or emails. I know a lot of you probably are doing that by hand, and having a software partner that will help you confirm those appointments, helping you schedule those appointments will astronomically free you up in your ability to do inspections, to have time with your family, to do things like growing your business. So I say all of that as a marketer myself, having the right strategic implementation of partnerships with your software platforms makes a huge difference. And that's kind of the end of stuff for me. We're going to kick this over to some of my integration partners, but I just want to make sure that marketing at its core is about making and building relationships and telling your story. So if you have a story to tell, making sure that you are doing that, making sure that you're connecting with your consumer, your client, however, your user, whatever you want to call that, is just making sure that you are telling your story and building those relationships with everything we talked about before. And kind of with that, I'm going to start kicking this over. I think we're going to start with Guardian Financial, who's going to kick us off with talking about how their integrations with HIP Office and credit card processing. And I just want to preface this with, this is not a sales pitch. This is not trying to get you in on anything. This is just to kind of help you think through your different processes, what you're doing currently, how it could be. If that is Home Inspector Pro Office, that's awesome and wonderful. We'd love to have you as part of the team. But if you have something else in place, we'd love to hear about that. If you're struggling in any one of these areas, again, any one of us on this panel would love to talk to you further and see if we can help you out. So our goal here is to make you the best small business owner, because that's how I view all of you. The best small business owner and entrepreneur we can, with software integrations and anything like that. So we're going to kick it over to Aaron and Ben, and we're going to let them kind of take it from there and talk about credit card processing and how their software helps with that. Also, one last thing, make sure you please fill out the survey that you get with the follow-up email that we send you. That will help us with more content like this, and we will go from there. So I'm going to end my presentation and kick it over to Ben and Aaron.
Awesome. Are we going to be able to share our screen here, Kayla?
You should be able to share your screen. Let me just end mine.
That's
real
great.
Quick. Okay, I've ended mine. You should be able to take over from here.
Great. So I really appreciate what Kayla was saying there about marketing, especially the social media marketing. We have seen that be one of the game changers for a lot of the new home inspectors that are starting. Getting into that social media has really helped their business out. We, like Kayla said, this is not going to be a sales pitch. We're going to try and keep this interesting and short. There's a couple ways you can make more money at your business, right? You can do the marketing, and that's really super important, that you get more business. The other way you can make more money at your business is by making more money on every inspection that you're already doing. And I'm going to talk about a couple things that you can do to help you do that, to increase the amount of revenue that you're making on each inspection that you're doing. And there's really just two parts of that I want to address. The first one is increasing your average ticket. Want to show you a couple ways that you can increase your what you make on each inspection, and then also just checking your statement. So let me go first to Dave Ramsey. Have any of you guys ever heard of Dave Ramsey? If you have, raise your hand there so we can see you. Dave Ramsey is kind of known throughout the United States as a guy. He's like the financial guru, and his whole shtick is getting people to get out of debt, right? That's his whole business model, is teaching his customers how to get out of debt. And I've followed Dave Ramsey for a lot of years, and I think he's great, and I love what he has to say. I went to his website, and I loved for us, and I want you guys to look at this. This came directly off of his website. This quote right here. The folks and just copy and paste off his website. The folks at Carnegie Mellon, Stanford, and MIT. So three of the biggest universities, research universities, they conducted a recent study where they found that using cash or plastic activate different regions of the brain. Researchers discovered two things. First thing, they found that it hurts, it triggers the pain sensors when people pay with dollar bills. It physically hurts. And then the second one is that credit cards effectively anesthetize that pain of pain. So Dave Ramsey here is teaching his customers, if you don't feel that slight pain of pain, guess what happens 10 out of 10 times when you go to spend money? You're going to spend more money, right? So what he teaches all of his followers is get rid of your credit cards. Don't use credit cards, because when you use credit cards 10 out of 10 times, you spend more money, because using credit cards anesthetizes that pain sensor that you feel when you're spending with cash. So that's a great message for consumers, but you guys are business owners, right? And so as a business owner, how do we look at that same message? When you're looking at your customers, how do you get them to spend more money with you? And one of the easiest things that you can do is get them to pay with credit card. Do the exact opposite of what Dave Ramsey is teaching people. These statistics come off of a research project that they did, those three universities. Basically they held an auction, to unknowing participants of this research project. And the first time they brought in, it was held at MIT, and there was a classroom full of MIT students, and they had 3 things up for auction. They had Celtics tickets, they had Red Sox tickets, and they had just some banners, like, you know, the foam finger and some stuff like that, right? Just some sports banners. And the first group of people they brought in, they auctioned off all these items, but they told everybody right up front, you have to pay with cash. We don't accept credit cards. Okay. And then they auctioned all the items off. Brought in, they did it to another classroom, MIT students, same demographic, same financial status, everything else, same exact items that they put up for auction. And they said, you have to pay with credit card. We don't accept cash or check. And I want you to look at some of these statistics here. On the Celtics tickets, on average, people spent $28.51 for those tickets when they paid with cash. When they paid with credit card for the exact same tickets, the average purchase price was $60.64, which is a 113% increase. The only thing different being that they paid with credit card instead of cash. And that kind of went across the board. For the Red Sox tickets, it was a 76% increase. For the banners, just stupid banners where everybody kind of knows what they cost, they're worth a couple bucks. On average, they spent 59% more on the same exact banners when they were using credit cards. And so I want you to think about when you're, how does that affect you as a home inspector? How can you take advantage of that knowledge? And it's really simple. When you're giving your pitch, and you're talking to your customer on your phone, and you're telling them about your home inspection and how much it costs and what you include. I'm assuming a lot of you guys have ancillary services, right? You have maybe radon or mold or thermography or, you know, whatever, drone inspections. When you start going into those ancillary services and you have option A is this much, option B is this much, and option C for the full package is this much, statistically, your customers are going to spend more and opt in for those more expensive packages when they pay with a credit card. It's a fact. And we've done that with our own customers where we've studied and ran the numbers on how much more the credit card sales are versus cash. And on average for home inspectors, it's 17%. Okay, that's a significant jump. People will spend more when given the option to pay with credit card. Now that only works though if you let them know right up front that they can pay with a card. So when you're giving those options and you go to option C and it's, you know, whatever, $800, say, but we do accept credit cards. That right there is the trigger that tells them, okay, I can spend a little bit more than maybe I was going to or what I thought about. So that's the first thing I want you to think about. First point I want to make, and the second thing that I want you to do to get out of this quick presentation is to look at your monthly credit card statement. And I know this is super boring. Nobody wants to look at these statements. It's like going to the dentist, pulling teeth. You hate it. But I want to show you this statement from a customer of ours that she gave me after seeing her at conferences for years and years and years. And she gave me permission to use this. Some of you might know Catherine Hall. Good friend of mine, right? Catherine's great. Anyway, she let me see the statement after years of knowing her. She said, okay, I've got a great deal. There's no way you can save me money, but go ahead, Aaron. And we looked at her statement, and she really does have a great rate. She's only paying 0.25% above cost. So that's what this number is right up here. But then you go down here and look at her fees, and there's this little fee hidden in there. She had a $99 monthly Pci compliance fee. She'd been paying it for years and years and years and didn't know it. When it was all said and done, on $980 of credit card processing, she paid $169, which is just under 18%. None of us can afford to do business if we're giving that kind of margin to a credit card processor. So one thing I want you to keep in mind is that your credit card processor sees your money and touches your money before you do. And so you want to make sure it's somebody you trust. And more importantly, keep them honest. Take 30 seconds every month. Look at the total amount in fees that you paid and divide it by the total amount in credit card processing that you did and see what you're paying and make sure it's not out of whack. It should be under 3%. And that's the only two things I wanted to get across today. Other than like Kyla said, we do integrate with the new Home Inspector Pro office, and would be happy to answer any questions about anything related to credit card processing or anything else that I brought up here today. But that's all I've got here. I hope that helps, and I hope you guys can take those 2 little tips and use them in your business to help you make more money on every inspection and save you a little bit of money every time you pay for your credit card processing.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron, so much. I really appreciate that. And what is really important with this is, as like, I'm sorry to make these generalizations. I don't really mean to offend anybody, but these are generalizations for a reason. But more and more millennial and Gen Z consumers are moving towards a cashless society. And so utilizing a credit card processing service is going to be huge on you closing deals and having that option. I know that's true for myself. I am not proud to admit this, but there's a reason why I get so many Amazon packages after a certain point in the evening. I am a notorious before bed shopper. They have my credit card information on file. If I find something that I like, I can just click buy. And so I think it's really important for you as you think about one of our other inspectors who utilizes Home Inspector Pro office made this point that I didn't even think about, but she said utilizing Guardian's services cuts down on her trips to the bank. Which as a small business owner, it may not seem like a lot, but I know for you guys, time is money, and utilizing those trips and maybe not even making those trips because you have a credit card processor, that it is your, for lack of a better word, friend, someone who understands being a small business owner is going to be huge. So I love that we partner with Guardian Financial. I love what they do for our users. But obviously you guys need to, do your research, make sure that they're the best fit for you guys. They work with Home Inspector Pro office. They make it really easy to integrate with paying when people book an inspection with you. So that process is super simple. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me, Aaron, or Ben. We're happy to answer those questions for any of you. It's really a great process to help streamline your business. From here, I think we will jump right into Trandon and his really awesome hat. He is ready to talk to you guys about marketing and, weirdly, home security systems, which those 2 words don't often go together in a sentence, but surprisingly do actually work really well together. So Trandon, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I'm actually I actually added to my PowerPoint, so I'm going to share my screen. Is that okay? Is that okay? All right.
You should be able to share your screen.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Well, hey friends, I'm trying to get this going. You think I would have this down after, Zoom for a year and a half, but I don't. All right. So like I said, my name is Trandon Gross Cost. It's like Brandon with a T. So yeah, home security, marketing, parenting, raising a dog, I don't know, whatever you want to, we can talk about. I got them all. But I've been with the company for 5 years now, and there's just a little bit of introduction. Kayla, you kept talking about relationships. That is one thing for me that if relationships weren't in this business, it just wouldn't fit. I love the people I work with. I work with a lot of inspectors nationwide. My whole company does, and we're just really grateful for just all of them that we work with, and the fact we've been able to make a financial impact in their business, their lives, and I'll get into and how we go about that. So this is me and my 2 little guys. The guy on my shoulder is Trayson, and the guy on my arm is Truman. That's out in Oceanside, California. But before I get into the actual who we're about, I want to give you a quick, just really basic social media marketing tips. Like, these are super basic, but I've been doing this for a while, and I'm just some things. So in LinkedIn, if you don't have a LinkedIn, I would really encourage you to get one, because in my opinion, every business leader should have a LinkedIn. And on the LinkedIn, some simple tips: a clean, sharp profile picture. I would suggest not even putting because a lot of people I see put their logo in there. Well, then no one sees you. So put a nice clean picture of yourself, and then just your business information. Because if you're a lot like me, you want people to get a hold of you, or at least your call center. And so have it very clean to where someone can get a hold of you very easily, because if they're not connected with you on LinkedIn, they can't see your information. And one thing, Kayla, you said about you said something earlier I took a note on, but LinkedIn is obviously not like Facebook. People want to see the behind the scenes of the actual business. So you're going to post like behind the scenes, the awards. That's what people love about LinkedIn. Facebook. Facebook, this is another thing too that I used to teach some social media marketing classes for home inspectors. when you are connecting with your realtors or referral partners, I see a lot of people that want to connect with them on their business page. Now, is that important? Of course it is. I highly encourage you to connect with them on your personal page. People want to do business with people that they like and trust, and they can get to know you very well on your personal page more than just your business page, where me anyways, we're posting a lot of like home security stuff and my referral checks. They don't really get to see who I am. And so that's why I've added a lot of you probably even watching this on my actual personal page. And then also, like I said, be relational. And it's the 80% 20 or 80-20 rule. 80% just you about your life, 20% business. And you go real far about that. And then Instagram, post images of your inspections. I see a lot of people doing this. I'm sure Kayla has a lot of people that she follows, like that Flamingo person. I'm gonna check them out. Images of your inspections, images of you with your clients, with your realtors. Tagging realtors is huge. People love to have their name tagged in photos because it pops up on other different things. And then use local hashtags. So example, if you're in Atlanta, hashtag Atlanta realtor, hashtag, whatever, something like that. And so those will then pop up in different areas. And if I can ever help you with like these things, I'd love to. At Secure 24, we obviously want to partner with people for our alarm referral program, but we really want to also just be a pillar in the industry that people know, like, and trust in a lot of different ways. So, all right, that's kind of that. And I'll hop into what we do, and we'll get into it. So why home inspectors? Well, alarms are outside of the scope of the inspection. So it's not even something that home inspectors mess with. And also 20% of new homeowners are going to get home security from somebody. And so here at Secure 24, we want to give them a great experience when setting up. And so we have a very low to almost no pressure call that we give them after the inspection, just trying to figure out if this is what they're looking for. Like I said, 20% are here. So we're here to blow up the status quo of home security companies reaching out. We're not trying to convince the 80%. And then some benefits are our customers receive free equipment on their ADT home security system, and also $850 worth of equipment. And then inspection companies will earn a $200 referral bonus per successful alarm installation. A lot of guys use that for, some people use it for retirement. Some people use it to wrap their trucks. Some people use it for incentives. It really, it all matters, but we just want to help people reach their dreams with that. I want to give you a quick story of a guy that I met 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, I made a call to this guy right here, Kevin Dinkel. Phone rang, left a voicemail. Usually what happens, because I cold call people all the time. And the voicemail was, "Hey, Kevin, this is Training Gross Calls over here at Secure 24. Got something to run by, give me a call back." About a month later, he calls me back, said, "What's up, buddy? What do you got?" And this is my first time ever talking to him. I said, "Well, my name's Training, and I run an alarm referral program that simply serves and helps people with home security and makes you money. I wanted to see if you'd be interested." So keep going. So basically give them all the facts. 20% of new homeowners get home security. It's outside of the scope of the inspection. We just have a great process, and we're fully automated on all major softwares. And he's like, "Okay, man, what's next?" So I got his address, sent him some co-branded flyers. And now 4 years, my friends, 4 years ago, we've sent him $13,000. And what he does, if you look on the screen here, he gives his money to a preferred charity that has helped many men and women, 25 that I know of so far, go through a faith-based rehab to help them get back on their feet and become the person that God created them to be. And so, like I said, whether it's a faith-based rehab, a charity, wrapping your truck, like, we just want to help people meet their dreams and do it just with a really good business platform. And so, and one of the coolest things about this too, HIP has done really cool things, but Secure 24 will cover $400 of the HIP office subscription when you sign up with them and start using our referral program. We're nationwide, and so you probably may not work with me, but you may work with someone else. And like I said, we just love the opportunity to be someone in your back pocket. And there's a quote that I like to live by, and it just kind of matches about who I am. It says, "Business is not just about profit; it's also about purpose." And that purpose is this relationship side of things, of just serving you and your family. And I would love the opportunity to do something with you guys. So, like I said, my name's Trandon, and thanks for having me on, Kayla, and hoping to take the next step with some people.
Awesome. Thank you, Trandon. And something I would definitely like to highlight while he has this on the screen, Guardian Financial obviously kind of like pays for itself with the ability of millennials to pay for their things with automation. But when we work with our automation partners, a lot of the cost for HIP Office is offset by you working with our integration partners. So I don't want to give a spoiler alert here, but working with John Lee, we will do a $150 comp towards your annual subscription. And then as well as if you sign up with Trandon and Secure 24, which reduces your HIP Office subscription to about $50 for the whole year. So as a marketer, I totally understand what it's like to learn a new system, set something up. So to pay $50 for the whole year to integrate with these partners, to allow yourself to have the ability to market like this, and to scale, because I totally get what it's like to be a single business owner, trying to do all of those things at once. And so if you have the ability to basically comp your first year while you get set up with us, while you get set up with Home Inspector Pro, while you get set up with Trandon, while you get John Lee, while you get set up with Ben and Aaron from Guardian Financial, at very little cost to you, because I recognize that you are a busy business owner who is trying to make the most of your finances. That is an incredible thing for you. So again, we're not trying to push things on you, but we just want to advocate the fact that you have a lot of options for this. So with that, I know some of you may have joined us for our HomeBinder webinar that we had last month, but I am going to kick it over to John Lee. She is new to HomeBinder. She has been with them for about 3 weeks. So let's be very patient with her, because we've all been there. We've all been learning new things, and she is definitely doing that. And she's been doing a phenomenal job with getting up to speed and learning the industry. So she's going to talk to you a little bit about what HomeBinder is, especially from the millennial perspective, which she and I have bonded over. I definitely love HomeBinder. When I buy a home, I will be trying to find an inspector that utilizes HomeBinder because of what they provide for the home. So she's going to talk a little bit more about that, and then we will be letting you guys go, answering questions. So we don't want to keep you too much longer, but John Lee, take it away.
Great. Thanks so much, Kayla. Yeah, just echoing what she's saying here. I'm super new to the home industry as a whole. So I'll kind of introduce that. I actually threw in a quick slide because I was inspired by Trandon. But yeah, my name is John Lee, and I am a first-time millennial home buyer. So just a little bit about me. I got married to, my high school sweetheart, and we moved across the country from Utah to Mass in 2018. We've been hanging out with family, just kind of getting up in our careers and kind of trying to find our footing here. But not only are we looking to buy our first home, but potentially a multifamily. We have no experience in home ownership, and both of our parents were living in the same homes for pretty much our entire life. So as far as those building relationships, we are super open to being as educated as possible when it comes to buying a home. We have a lot of buying power, and we have a lot of friends who are in a similar situation. So I wanted to give that context and saying that, this is coming from somebody who's super fresh, super green in the industry, and as a potential person who would be working with your agents and seeking someone like yourself. So how HomeBinder helps you market yourself to millennials, I think really is in 2 parts. And the first one is with technology and integration. The homeowner really wants something all in one place. I don't want to go to a bunch of different apps to find all of my information, especially when it comes to official documents and anything that might help me. I am a person who lives by my planner. I live by my email. I'm a very organized person. So I want everything in one centralized location, and I want it to be really easy. Integration using a full stack of great software partners will help your business have the ease and integration that you need to just kind of set it and forget it. I know that can always be something that you want to customize and make it really impactful, but it really doesn't take a lot of work after the initial setup. So I think technology is really important to make sure that you're really set up within a centralized place. Make sure it's in the cloud, and that you have the access for your homeowners and your agents to integrate with your solution as well. So the second part of this is that it's really about educating the homeowner, educating the agent that these tools exist for you, and to drive that relationship. This with HomeBinder, it's really a place that maximizes home value for the homeowner, and it's a place that you are co-branded with your agent so that you are both top of mind when the homeowner is getting some co-branded maintenance emails, and the agent is listed on a seller report at the end of the transaction loop. And these are ways that you are constantly building the opportunity to get more referrals from that agent and more business from the homeowner.
Jonalee, do you mind if I chime in here?
Of course, please do.
Okay, so as also a millennial, I just want to help our audience understand. I, during the pandemic, became a crazy plant lady, and I have a ton of plants in my house. And there is an app called Blossom, and I can take pictures of every single one of my plants, and it will log it and tell me when to water it, what green leaves mean, what brown leaves mean, anything that I need to know. And I will get a push notification to my cell phone what that means. So I think it's incredible to stress here what HomeBinder does is basically the same thing that Blossom is doing for my houseplants. HomeBinder will do for your clients and your real estate relationships. With co-branding, you get to do this with the real estate agent who sells the home, but also I'm getting a push notification from you every 3 months, every 6 months. I'm getting a notification from you to change my, what is it? I'm sorry, I rent, so I'm very bad at this, but I'm getting a notification to change my air filter every 3 months from you if I have HomeBinder. So, and that's co-branded with you and your agent. So that's a huge marketing opportunity for you to pitch that to agents for the ability to co-brand these types of things. So if I'm willing, as a millennial, if I'm willing to do this type of app purchase participation with my houseplants, I am that much more invested when it comes to my home. So I just wanted to chime in with that. Jonalee, keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great anecdote. I feel the same way on just having stuff that's easy, and it takes no extra work for me to just do the thing that it's asking me to do. So HomeBinder and Home Office Pro they make it really easy. So you can upload and distribute your marketing materials from HomeBinder, and we make everything for you, so you don't have to do any additional work. We have marketing materials such as branded flyers and videos explaining what HomeBinder is, so that you can distribute that to your real estate agents and to the homeowner. We also provide automated email scripts so that you'll be confident when you're pitching, your elevator pitch or your driveway speech to the homeowners and agents. You'll be fully prepared. So these co-branded maintenance reminders, these provide 6 to 8 touches a year, and they have open rates of upwards to 80%, which is what I've heard from everyone in the industry is that's really amazing. And so this allows you to be seen multiple times throughout the year, alongside the real estate agent, so that you are really that source of trust, you're that source of education. And it's the ongoing things that millennial buyers might not remember to do. I wouldn't think to clean my gutters or service my air conditioning system. I haven't thought of how to change a tire really because I have AAA. So these types of opportunities to get in front of the millennial home owners, they really help you stay top of mind, and they continue to drive referrals from that real estate agent too, because you've got the co-branding. So there's no, this is totally pre-made, and there's no additional work you'd have to do to set this up. Like I said, it's a set it and forget it. So you don't need to create any additional content, and they're fully automated throughout that year. Well, throughout years, I guess. The seller report is this one next to it on the right side. And this is something that would happen in the end of the transaction loop when the homeowner is ready to sell the home. All of the information within the home binder is totally private to the homeowner. And this is acting like the Carfax for the home. So once they are ready to sell, this report is generated. And we provide you with all the materials you need to reach out to that referral source, which is primarily your real estate agents. You'll be confident and prepared with all of the scripts that we provide you for that driveway speech. And so that you have the confidence to explain HomeBinder and provide them with, these materials so they know that, you're the trusted person in the industry who provided this for them. With the relationship with the agent too, this not only HomeBinder like increases the value of the home over time with this ongoing maintenance reminder, we have a home valuation tool that encourages them to update and maintain the home. And we actually have on average 17% more worth the home as they're selling it when they do end up going through the seller report here at the end. So this is a really great benefit for the agent at the end of the day. And yeah, I think that's it for the maintenance reminders and the seller reports. We have a referral tool built into HomeBinder. And I saw someone in the comments say, at what point do you encourage a referral, or when do you send this? This is always at the front page of HomeBinder. So anytime someone logs in, they can see it and interact with it right away. But during the onboarding process, I'd say that when you send the thank you email, we have that script for the thank you email, you can encourage them to log in and set that referral right away. And I think it is really important to drive referrals as an inspector, because I have a friend who is a real estate agent, and we talk all the time about, potential lenders and inspectors that she wants to work with. And that's the first thing we would look up is if you have a website, if you have social media, and what those reviews and potentially look like. So not only would I want to work with you because you have educated me, but you also have great reviews. And because you've educated me as a millennial home binder, I will in turn leave you a great review. So I think that it's not as hard as it might seem to just ask. That's the great thing about working closely with other people, is asking someone for a great review it's kind of easy through HomeBinder and just asking. So we have some add-on services that we can get into when you do talk to somebody who that you can talk to our sales team about. But Repair Pricer, warranties, and build facts are all great tools that you can add on within HomeBinder. And I know, Kayla, you also were really excited about the home warranty piece, because that's just something that we didn't understand. Like, what even is a home warranty? Why would you need that? I've been renting forever. If I have my appliance die, my dishwasher die, I just call my landlord. But as a homeowner, it would be a totally different experience. So I might want that peace of mind with a home warranty.
And I'm going to chime in on that because prior to coming to HIP, I worked for a residential licensing company, and I had no idea. I worked in commercial real estate before that. So coming to residential was a very different experience, and discovering warranties as part of your home buying experience was a absolute game changer for me, because I didn't know that existed, and I didn't know that I could have peace of mind for 6 months, a year to 2 years with a home warranty on my home when it came to my appliances, and that my home inspector could help me out with that. So I think when you are thinking about millennial home buyers, I'm going to put myself forward as a very slightly dumb home buyer who just doesn't know these things. And when you can educate someone about their experience and what they should think through, expect, all of those things, budget for. And that's, I think, why I got so excited about home warranties, was because one of the main things for me was, is my home inspector going to know / be able to tell me, like, I don't mind if my water heater goes out, but can they tell me within like ish timeline when my water heater is going to go out? And a home warranty helps with that. A home inspector helps with that. All of these things are absolutely, in my opinion, magical for my crisis prone brain to think through and plan for and budget for. So I think millennials who are used to renting, having a home inspector who will help them with that type of thing, and having something like HomeBinder who will help navigate that process is absolutely wonderful. And again, those touch points, that churn factor, when you are a home inspector and you are a service-based industry whose services are needed maybe once every 10, 15 years, having something that will allow you those touch points to provide you with referrals is absolutely huge. So that's where HomeBinder and Home Inspector Pro Office really integrate really nicely together to provide you with those touch points. Because I know that when I get exceptional service from something, I definitely talk to my friends about it, and I want to pass that along to them if they are in need of those services. So that is awesome. John Lee, you did amazing. Thank you so much for talking to us about HomeBinder.
I agree.
I think
Great.
Oh,
Traded,
thanks, guys.
also amazing. Ben, thank you so much for being here. Dan, you were fielding comments and questions from the chat exceptionally well, and I appreciate that so much. So we're gonna, if it's okay with all of you guys, we're gonna get into the questions from the chat a little bit. I know we're a little bit over time, so we just want to answer these questions real fast. I know one question I saw for me is about landing pages. I need a little bit more context about landing pages. Are you talking about promotional landing pages? Are you talking about pricing landing pages? I need a little bit more context as far as that goes. I know that Dan hit the question about multi-inspector firms with HIP Office. We are really ramping up with our ability to service multi-inspector firms. We really want to help you guys out with your ability to do what you do. So we are absolutely definitely hitting that. There were some questions about, Ben, I don't know if you can see the Q&A, but there were some questions about the payment plan. So I don't know if you can see those and you can maybe answer those.
He's been plowing through them.
Yeah, when I saw that one, I thought that was directed at HIP as far as paying your fees with credit cards. If that's, I didn't understand the question, I guess, if it was directed at me.
Okay, there's one I see about wave accounting. Did you grab that one?
Yeah, so that one's just really, the big thing is when you step outside of your inspection software and you integrate your credit card processing with your accounting, you're almost always going to end up with a really high effective percentage rate and more work on your plate. We have integration into QuickBooks, which a lot of people use. And so when you tie the three together by putting us together with HIP and us together with QuickBooks, then that all stays flowing so that you don't have any manual steps in the process, while at the same time we can keep your credit card processing as well.
The other thing that I want to talk about with Trandon, something for me, and this is just something to, again, just get you guys thinking about selling security services to your clients. If I, as I am, were to buy a condo, I don't know that I would get a security system. I'm pretty secure. I'm pretty happy in my building. So that may not be the right fit for me. But if I were a single woman buying a home in a neighborhood, that would be a lot more something that I would consider, that I would want to talk about, that I would want to know the ins and outs of. So my point there is to consider who your buyer is and what their existential considerations might be, and where is the neighborhood that you're buying? Where is what is the person's status in life? What are their values? So like where I am currently, not so much. If I were to buy a home, let's say with 5 acres and a couple goats, which is actually my dream, because our CEO Dominic has a couple goats. He showed them to us on a call last week and I was incredibly jealous. I might want a security system to just have that peace of mind. So I think when you are thinking about services like this, you want to think about who your client is and what they're looking for. I think, Trandon, did you have anything else to add?
I teach my kids to raise their hands, so I raise my own hand. I'll say too is obviously security systems. The main reason is to keep people out. I understand that. But for me, being a single full-time dad, like that's one of the reasons. But I also like it too because I can hear my front door opens, back door opens, everything's monitored. I know what's going on. Like it's also to help me know what's going on inside my house too. So like it's not just always there. So people get home security for many different reasons, and they can save on homeowner's policy too with a monitored system. So there's a lot of different things in here what people get. And like I said, we just want to be the company that helps you out and you know I can trust. So thanks, Kayla.
And I have the same compulsion for hand raising from a long history of teachers. One of the things too with Secure 24 and ADT is a lot of people are hearing automation and home automation is a big aspect that has happened, has popped up quite a bit in the last 5 years. And especially because people are listening to podcasts and all those type of things, there are a number of options that people are hearing, and there are different qualities to the services that are offered. And that's one of the things that can be, as talking to your home inspectors, your home inspection clients, you're an expert and you can provide better insight than what they're just hearing from podcast hosts or TV show hosts or whoever they are, and be able to give answers as to what the actual services are and the pros and cons of versus an actual centralized monitor security system and one you install yourself. Because people see as like, oh, I can stick sensors here, I can throw cameras here, but it's more than just having sensors, because if you don't have somebody watching them, if you don't have those type of other services that are part of that, that's what they're paying for. It's good to inform the customers as to the actual pros and cons, because I know people who use, what is the one is, I can't think of the name of it. The one I hear most often is Simply Safe, is that there are people I know who have it and they like it, but it's because they're there all the time and they are actively monitoring it on their phone. There's a difference between that and actually having like an ADT or any of those type of services where it's actively monitored. And so you as a professional can give more insight into that, and having hosts, providers who like Trandon, who can give you that information to pass on to your customers.
I will say, I'm gonna step in front of Trandon real quick. If you sign up as a brand new user with HIP Office, you automatically get $400 off your HIP Office subscription for the year. So, and that's free and clear. All you have to do is set up that integration with them. And on top of that, every single referral that you get that closes with a security system, you get an additional $200. Is that right? Okay, $200 in your pocket. So our goal here, our peak goal is to provide you with resources that help make you marketable. And whether or not they work for you is up to you to determine what works for your business. But just the purchase of Home Inspector Pro Office plus that integration will offset your cost dramatically, which then allows you to test this. If it doesn't work for your business after a year, 2 years, Trandon and I are willing to have that conversation and figure out what does work, because we're obviously committed to growing and learning and wanting to hear from you. But at least that buys you 365 days of majority free ability to refer this as a product. So that's like the biggest, most important thing that we want to kind of touch on, is the fact that that is majority free if you sign up for HIP Office Pro. HIP Office. No. Home Inspector Pro Office. There we go. I'm going to blame this.
There you go. So to continue the previous question that was asked about landing pages, and this is something that gets more into SEO. The question was, is having landing pages for each city or zip code and breaking those out so you have ones that are customized for every basically everything that's in your service area. Home Inspector Pro is, we've hosted websites since 2008. At one point, we had a couple thousand that were hosted with us. And Dominic used to give actual trainings for inspectors on SEO. One of there has been a lot of changes in the last 12 years of search engine optimization, or SEO, which is to help optimize the placement of your site for your business in search engine rankings. One of those things that has changed quite a bit is the content that's on the site. Landing pages used to be really common, and especially for marketing, is to have a separate page that basically covers every market. And guys would actually do like lists of zip codes, or they do all those type of things. They do still have some effect, but the effectiveness has gone down significantly. Because just search engines they see that people game the system to try to increase their ranking, and so Google and Microsoft or Bing then changes how it happens to ungame the system, and so it's a kind of a cat and mouse type thing. They still do have an effect, and it can help your ranking, but the important thing is to have the content that's on those pages relevant for the area you're actually serving. So one, it's not it doesn't help if you have just a page that has like the city name and the zip code, or the zip codes of that city, and you do that for every city, and then you have the same exact content on every page, because the search engine, the key of what a search engine is a text comparer. They look at the content of one text page and compare it to another, and they say, oh, these pages are all the same, so why would I care? So the important thing to do, and that may be getting more into the weeds than you need to know, if you are going to have landing pages, say for half dozen cities, the larger cities that are in your area, it will take the time to actually enter content, and actually you have to write content, or you have to pay somebody to write content that is unique for the city, that offers something. So when we talk to people about SEO, is like, and I'm just pulling this out, is like, say you're in Temecula, one of the target cities is Temecula in California. You have actual services that are there, say real estate agents that are in Temecula, hardware stores, and services that are offered there, and actual links to them. So you are actually providing unique content that is of benefit to your customers. And so it does take more legwork. It does take more effort. But that effort can actually significantly improve your ranking. But it's not something you can just be like, I'm just going to fill this out and never touch it again. It takes active review. And this is general for the search engine optimization of your site in general. A lot of people are fine to pay $100, $200 a month to pay for somebody to do SEO for your site. There are companies that do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing that you need to do is to have benchmarks for them. Is what is the actual return of the value that you're paying them? Because we see that with guys who are paying like $200 a month to some company to do SEO, and they're not doing anything, or what they're doing is ineffective, and they don't have any way to prove this year versus last year there's been no increase in ranking, or it's actually gone down, because what they're doing is actually it's counterproductive. And so, and a lot of this stuff is stuff that you can actually do, and there are services and classes and things you can take for that it's not hard. What search engine optimization companies do is not hard. It's just being able to we usually tell guys, spend an hour a week, and you're in the benefit of as inspectors, you guys literally take thousands of pictures a week of the common and the bizarre, and just things that are unique, and they're all targeted towards your target area, because those photos came from inspections in your target area. Literally take a photo, go through your photos, and as you see something, set it aside when you're doing your reports, and post that picture, write a paragraph about it, and just make sure that you include where it's from, what is unique about it, the terms home inspection or home inspector, so it's tied to your service, and just do it regularly. Spend a half hour just making tweaks to your site, and that will actually do more for your ranking than what you're paying somebody to do $200 a month if you don't know what they're doing. Kayla was going to post the links for the social media stuff, but there's a guy in Mississippi who hosted sites with us, and he would just see the most bizarre stuff, and he would post it in his blog every week. And I followed him for the longest time on Facebook. even though I was never going to get an inspection from him. But the stuff that he would post drew me in. And so for like his Facebook posting, it was interesting to see what he posted, and he posted every week. And it was just like, there was one that I remember is that somebody in a house had used sneakers to hang wiring through their attic. Like literally they had tied sneakers and they had the wires running in between the sneakers, between the shoelaces. Is like, you guys see some of the weirdest stuff, and that will jump out to customers, and that will actually naturally draw people in. And they'll be like, that was a funny photo. I'm going to call this guy. He's obviously is looking deep enough to see this stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with your search engine optimization that is not necessarily hard. And it's not something you need to throw a ton of money at, and it can be intimidating because this is not what you do. But for any website hosting platform that you're working with, it should at this point be simple enough that you can do it yourself for the very basics of day-to-day use. You go to a page, you hit edit, you type some stuff up, you post a picture, you're done. And that carries over to posting stuff on Facebook, posting stuff on Instagram, and you don't necessarily have to do unique content for each of those channels. You can use the same content on all three of those channels because, yes,
I'm gonna interrupt you there because as a marketer, pick which channel works for you and commit to it.
Okay.
Because choosing to post to all the different channels can be incredibly overwhelming. So if your demographic skews more towards Facebook, post to Facebook. If your demographic skews to Instagram, post to Instagram. But don't overwhelm yourself with needing to post to all of the channels the same different things. Because as we touched on earlier, those different platforms are automatically skewing differently for age demographics. So I would say look at where you are in the country, and I want to absolutely affirm you guys that where you are in the country is going to be different demographically. Denver is different than somewhere like, I don't know, somewhere in Florida. I can't pick up a name off the top of my head, but like people who are going there are going to be more retirees. So you're going to be dealing with a different type of demographic than people who are moving to Denver, to Boise, to Bozeman. You're going to be dealing with a lot of different demographics. So look at who the demographics of your city are, and then don't overwhelm yourself right away, but just choose one social media platform and post to there.
So,
and like Dan's saying, like that will help you exponentially.
There are also free suites like Hootsuite or pieces like that where you can at least get 3, maybe 4 medias out of one effort. Just a thought.
So and Kayla's right. It's because especially it also can look kind of spammy if somebody does follow you on Facebook and Instagram and seeing the same stuff at the same time. It just looks like, this is a robot. I don't care. One of those things that you can do, and to go with what she says, is maybe not post the same information all at the same time, but as you can vary when you post the same content to different channels as well. Is it maybe something you post to your blog this week, you copy and paste it, you post it to Facebook in 2 weeks, a month out, you post it to Instagram. There are a bunch of strategies. You don't have to overthink it too much. And this is where asking questions, and actually a lot of the Facebook groups that inspectors are in, there can be this can also be a good place to bounce ideas off of people too. Where you're not necessarily targeting, you're not asking your customers, you're asking people in your same community. And most of those guys are not your competition, so why do they care? Well,
and I will say this, going back to the questions that we've seen in the chat about the social media handles. I should have included this the Facebook handle in my slide. I apologize for that. That one was easy. I did check the TikTok. That one's a little harder, so I'm not quite sure how to post that one. But I will post this in the chat, but the Facebook handle is Pink Flamingo Inspects on Facebook. And if you just check her out, she is a female inspector who is doing a great job with utilizing Facebook as a social media platform. And then I will post later, I will post the TikTok inspectors. One is Inspector_AJ. He's at TikTok. And the other one is just all one word, Inspector Murph. So if you can just check those out, those will be really great. And I'll post those in the chat really quick. But I just wanted to like throw those out really quick. And again, these are people who are all over the country, who are dealing in very different demographics and very different markets than you, but are really honestly people who've used and leveraged social media in a really interesting way. I did want to toss it over to Ben because I've seen a few chats about the credit card processing. So I didn't know if you'd seen those, Ben, if you could see those in the Q&A and the chat and wanted to speak to those. Oh, Ben, you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, great questions. Somebody did ask about credit card readers. One thing that we really want to talk about there is that we've been working with, home inspectors for more than 15 years exclusively, and we do have options for credit card readers for guys who do want to take those in the field. However, at this point, none of the inspection software companies have a reader integration built into their systems, which would mean that you would have to do some manual entry. However, because we work with so many home inspectors, we underwrite your accounts in a way that allows you to get swiped rates for keyed transactions. So there really isn't any need to have a reader. And what we found, honestly, is that the majority of guys who want a reader end up not using it, which then causes your effective rate to go up. The reader doesn't work with your cover, or you have to keep it charged, or you leave it in your truck. Whatever reason it is, a guy doesn't use a reader, and then it just ends up costing them extra money because of that. I think the only other one, there was a great question about ACH versus credit card processing. And we do have ACH options, which really allows you to market yourself in a way where if you're trying to cover the cost of a credit card processing by adding surcharges or a percentage onto the transaction, adding ACH is a great way, a great effective marketing way to do offsetting those fees, where you can offer the customer still the ability to do an electronic payment, so they can still pay online in a convenient way in their preferred form of payment. Yet, because ACH transactions carry such a low cost to you, the business owner, you can then say, hey, here's a free option for you to do it electronically, or you can do it with your credit card, which is a little more convenient. When you do an ACH transaction, the customer does have to enter their banking information, which takes a little more effort on their side. So there is some great marketing tools in there. Gets a little more detailed than we probably want to take at this point, but would love to chat with anybody who has detailed, wants further information on that.
Dan, go ahead.
Oh, this was actually just to continue the discussion. There was a question that was early on, and it's actually a good question for everybody in the room because it's the continual question. When we talk of marketing, are we talking to marketing to end clients, such as actual home inspection clients, or are you marketing to agents? And I have seen 1,001 Facebook flame wars regarding this, because it is a holy war in the inspection market. Is there an opinion amongst you?
I would say what I am framing this as is you're marketing to your end user, which is your person who's buying the home. We would call that a user, you would call that a client, a customer, whatever. You want to make sure that you are fulfilling that. I also have a lot of real estate agent friends. So that's where I think we tag team as HIP. We tag team very nicely with HomeBinder to also market towards agents to say, hey, there's an automation system that I have. I am a HIP inspector. I have HIP office. I have integrated with HomeBinder. Let me and you collaborate and be the home inspector and the agent on that and send them reminders. So I know there are a lot of flame wars, but I don't know what John Lee would say, but I feel like there is a both and kind of aspect with that rather than either or kind of aspect. I think it can be both.
And that would be my question is, why does there have to be a decision? Why can't it be both? Because they're different, they're serving different segments, but the end goal is the same. So is to more inspections and keeping inspectors busy. So, but you may target those two different segments in a different way. So.
And I think that's where HomeBinder and stuff like Guardian and Secure 24, all of these are just tools in your tool belt to help you further your marketing efforts to make you stand out amongst your peers. Like we talked about earlier in the presentation, what you're trying to stand out among, is it price? Is it services offered? And I feel like when you are a hip, I say the desktop, I will admit fully, Dan loves the desktop. I love Hip Office. That's my baby. That's what I love. That's what I want to help you guys with, because that is more of the marketing side of things. I love that you guys use our product to do your inspections. I love that for you, but I think utilizing Home Inspector Pro Office and our integrations with Guardian, with Secure 24, with HomeBinder really helps you set yourself apart in your markets, helps you offer a wide variety of integrations and a wide variety of ability to provide for millennials, for families, for boomers, for whoever you're trying to hit. All of these integrations, all of these services, when paired with Home Inspector Office, helps you advance your business practices. If you want to hear any more about any of this, please let us know. I know Ben is available, Aaron is available, Trandon is available, John Lee, myself, anybody. If you have any other ideas, please fill out our post webinar survey, because that will help us bring us better content for you. I am always on the prowl for better, not better that these panelists are not great. They're great, but I'm always on the prowl for people who can provide us with interesting commentary and insights. So if you guys have anybody, know anybody, please talk to me, let me know. And we will gladly have them on the webinars. We want to make sure that you guys are the most successful home business owners that you can be, and provide the best service that you can to your homeowners. But I do think that we're at 7 o'clock, which means we are about 30 minutes over our time. So we want to thank you guys for spending about 90 minutes with us. We will record this. We will put this on Facebook. We appreciate you guys so much for spending time with us. Cheers. Thank you to all my panelists for being here and being wonderful and providing their insights. We appreciate you so much. Like I said, Trandon and Secure 24 will provide you with a $400 discount if you sign up with Home Inspector or HomeBinder. I'm sorry, HomeBinder will give you another additional $150 off. Ben and his team will help you close more deals. Thank you, Dan, for helping me with the chats, and we just appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Kayla.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.